Beautiful setting here in Oberstdorf for the first of the pure sprints in the Tour de Ski. This is phase 3, and it's at about this stage that we start to get an idea of who the top 10 are going to be come the end of the Tour de Ski. But for me, this is much, much closer than it has ever been, and really very difficult to call, particularly with Lukas Bauer a little off form yesterday and Petter Northug without that devastating sprint finish that he had last year. So the second semi-final, Yarapov for Russia.
Legkov, he'll probably do his same again, try and stay in the top 2 and take it towards the line.
Next door to him, Simon Ostensen from Bærum in Norway, just outside Lillehammer. Remember, a podium finish in the Tour in 2007.
Morilov. He's looking confident, he's looking very relaxed. 48th position yesterday in the 15-kilometer.
Alexei Pechikov, my goodness, what a talent. He's 64th in the Tour at the moment, some 3 minutes 58 behind, but he is going for the win today, and then we suspect he might retire from the Tour. Dario Colonia, well, there's no way he's going to retire unless something goes drastically wrong today. And that looks highly unlikely. The Swiss #1 on very good form indeed in the black bib. First full start of the day. I think it might have been Simon Ostensen.
I didn't quite see what happened there. 4 Russians, they were desperate to get to the front to try and control this, but I think Dario Cologna's got a different idea.
That reminds me of the Tour races. Sometimes they fire the gun twice when you have 14,000 people on the line, but there is no way, no way they're coming back. And there are a number of Tour races where the officials have men lined up 500 meters down the track with a massive great rope to run across and stop them if people go early. But it's more of a comical event than anything else. With 6 of the World Cup skiers, no problem bringing them back. So we try again. The second semi-final. 2 places at least up for grabs. If they want to become lucky losers, they've got to be under 2 minutes 36 seconds. I think that might be possible, so we could see another 4 qualifiers coming out of this heat. Countdown begins. Slightly better start and no double gun, so Dario Colonia in a good position in the middle of the grouping. But this is all about the Russian national team, 4 of them in this heat. Pechikov, Morilov, Legkov, Yaparov, and there's not one amongst them who isn't capable of winning.
It's incredible, and I must say, bib 14 there, Yaparov, it's his 3rd World Cup race today. He's done so well. They brought him in after his recent great form in the races over Christmas back in Russia.
Simon Ostensen going to the front, and it'll be interesting to see what tactics he employs for the second half.
Morilov trying to, I thought Morilov was going to attack and try and lead it at this point. Colonia, this is a different strategy this time, Patrick. He led from beginning to end the last heat.
Yeah, I think the second climb is where he might make his mark. He's well positioned, second place behind Ostensen. He's just got to watch out that #2, Nikolai Morilov, doesn't push ahead and open up a huge gap. They want to be on the left-hand side of the track for the second climb, Mike, because it's got quite a sharp corner to the left at the top. Ostensen just juggling for position. Are we going to see a faller here? No, safely round at the moment. Morilov leading. Ostensen in second for Norway. #19, working his way round is Alexei Pechikov.
Pechikov hasn't placed himself well, Patrick. Ostensen kept him out on the corner, wouldn't let him get close, elbowed him. And he's not on the best line, Pechikov, but I expect he's going to go forward soon.
I think Cologna's been thinking about this. He's gone way over onto the left-hand side, so gets a shorter turn when they get to the top. Under the banner in 1:44, they are 4 seconds quicker than the last heat. So we could well see 4 qualifiers coming from this heat. There could be 4 Russians going through. We'll have to wait and see. Colonia will certainly do his best to make sure that that is not the case. Ostensen again, playing it very, very risky game, right on the back of the skis at Colonia. Round the last of the technical bends, carrying good speed is Ostensen, keeping the Norwegian in the top three at the moment. For the first time, Colonia hits the front. He's on the inside, just about goes over the tails of the skis and loses a couple of inches as Morilov turns up the pace. Good start for the sprint from Ostensen. Has he got the endurance to keep this one going? That certainly might raise a protest from the Russians. Ostensen changing tracks with just 50 meters to go. It's allowed Dario Colonia of Switzerland to come through and claim top spot. Ostensen at the moment in second, the time 2:33.1. It is a full 2.5 seconds quicker than the first heat, and therefore we suspect that Pechikov will go through.
I think Morilov might go through as well, Patrick.
There's a photo finish between Morilov and Leitkov, whichever one of them comes out on top, and it's Nikolai Morilov has gone through as a lucky loser.
Whoa, what a race. Two of the Russians making it in the end, 2 out of the 4.
Yeah, every single member of that heat quicker than everyone in the first heat.
And it just shows you have to be so well placed into this final 120 meters. Pechikov got it wrong, Morilov got it wrong, so did Leitkov, and it nearly cost them.
Yeah, so the Russians end up with 2 qualifiers in the final. The remainder will go through to the small final.
Well, Colonia, he didn't look as dynamic, but he played it sensibly. Came through just in the last 200 meters.
Yeah, that for me was a well-controlled race, Mike. He didn't have to push too hard down the home straight either. He'd got himself into a good position on that last corner. The only mistake he made was that slight stumble where his balance went over the back of the skis. But Dario Colonia is in the lead, the tour leader, looking very, very good. He'll be racing in the final in around 10 minutes' time.
Well,
welcome back to Oberstdorf and the very last stage of the sprint event here, phase 3 of the Tour de Ski for 2010-2011. A happy new year to you. If you weren't with us yesterday morning bright and early, I guess you've got an excuse for missing out on the pursuits, but you have, if that's the case, you've missed 2 of the best races that we've seen this year, particularly the men's pursuit.
It was incredible, 15 kilometers. And at the time disadvantage on where they were placed from the previous day, and it turned into an amazing race.
Yeah, tactical, fast, and with many attempts to get away. In the end, Dario Colonia coming through to win for Switzerland. He'll be in action in the men's final of this sprint in around 5 minutes' time. Petra Majic, though, is the one attracting the attention here. Not is the one who has looked so determined in every heat so far. Up against her in this final, Julia Ivanova, number 13. No small final today. Number 2, Aina Kaiso Saarinen, the best of the Finns on the tour, and that face telling a story. 5, Astrid Jakobsen of Norway, former sprint world champion. Classic style on these tracks in 2007. Procházkova of Slovakia, maybe the surprise entrance in the women's final. Just needs to keep it neat and tidy. Yet to be beaten today. Fastest in qualifying, fastest in the first round, fastest in the semi-finals, Petra Majic of Slovenia. But her #1 rival and the leader of the tour by some 32 seconds, Justyna Kowalczyk. Last year's overall World Cup winner as well. 2 of the greatest. What a shame Marit Bjørgen isn't here.
What a final, though, Patrick. It is a pity that Bjørgen isn't here. She will be watching this, and maybe she'll be wishing that she was lined up against these great names.
Yeah, it's much harder as an athlete to miss races than it is to do them. That's something that those who don't do competitive endurance sport find hard to believe and understand, but it is the case. Now, let's focus our eyes. Most of your eyes need to be on the yellow suit of Majic on the left, Kowalczyk just next to her in the red and blue, and Saarinen just to the left of them in the finish suit, the dark blue with the light blue strip down the knees. Saarinen started well, Mike, but has lost a little bit of ground. Majic wanting to control this one. She was very quick early on.
I'm surprised Kowalczyk wasn't leading over the bridge. I thought in my mind, I thought it would be Kowalczyk, but Kowalczyk will be attacking, without a doubt, attacking this first of the 2 big climbs.
2:51, the quickest time in qualifying from Petra Majic. She went 2:51 in the semi-finals. Are we going to see them break 2:50 in the final?
I think we will. The intensity that Kowalczyk and Majic will have to give to keep ahead of each other it's going to raise this game. Jakobsen looking smooth, technically more efficient, I would say, than the other two who look like they're running.
Yeah, Maric has got the panic technique on. They went over the top of the hill, or Kowalczyk did anyway, in the semi-final in 1 minute 11 seconds. Looks as though Maric is pretty much equal with that, maybe a fraction of a second down. But Maric and Kowalczyk in a class of their own at the moment, down the hill. Now this is where Maric has a slight advantage, slightly better on the downhills. Kowalczyk, the weight forward, it's a desperate struggle to get around the corners.
But not only that, Patrick, the tension through Kowalczyk's legs, there is no part of that technique which allows recovery on the corners.
Yeah, now she's got to do what she's best at, which is the climbing. And Maric, I think, sensing that she's opened up a little of a gap, changes gear again. She's got a 5-meter lead at the moment, but Kowalczyk stomps away up the hill, trying to close that gap down. But you can see the same thing happening again on the downhill corners coming round into the finish straight.
Definitely, it's looking very good for Petra at the front. It's looking a little dangerous, I think, for Kowalczyk in second. Jakobsen still there. This is brave. This is a gutsy performance from Maric.
Yeah, this will put a massive smile on her face if she should win this one and get her back into contention for the Tour as a whole.
Oh, look at the lead. It's unusual. I don't think we've ever seen a lead like this in a final, the sprint final. Maric way ahead, Kowalczyk tightening up around the bend as we maybe thought, which is allowing Jakobsen right back on in the race.
Yeah, Jakobsen certainly could have something to say about Kowalczyk finishing in second place. Looks as though the 60 bonus seconds are going to go to Petra Maric, and who can take it away from her? A sensational qualifying time of 2:51.2. Down the home straight now, it could be the fastest time of the day in the final after all the effort they've put in so far. 2:48, 49, 2:50. She's quicker than qualifying, and she wins by a country mile ahead of Kowalczyk. Jakobsen in third for Norway. Sensational run from Petra Maric, and you can hear what it means to her. Lying in 7th in the World Cup standings, she's had a couple of seconds, she's had a third, she's had a fourth, but she hasn't had a win until today.
You can just feel how much this means to Petra. She was going to retire at the end of last season had she not fallen and injure herself at the Olympics, and it means so much to her. The great thing with Petra, Patrick, when she started her racing career in Slovenia, there was no real coaching, no knowledge, no concept of how to be the best in the world. But so she's made this path herself, really.
Yeah.
Got her good coach when she was 15 in Slovenia, and then even Hadic has really improved her game since then.
Well, what would you say to Kowalczyk? There you see the base of the ski, a little bit of snow sticking to the well, I guess a few of the teams have gone for Clister because it's just on that, just on the limit. Well, if you're going to win, you might as well enjoy it. And I think that is a real boost for Petra Maric.
She's still on the adrenaline, isn't she? She's still high on that performance, quite right.
Yeah, great skis, she said, great skis. But it was her all-round skills, her ability to cope with the uphills and the downhills that made the difference. That first left-hand turn that's given everyone problems, but Kowalczyk looked like a young giraffe trying to get round there, and the gap went from 1 meter to 10 in the space of 20.
Yeah, and that's where I love this course, because you need to be good at climbing the hills in the cross-country style, but you have to also be efficient on the downhills.
Yeah, I think I'd send Kowalczyk to Val d'Isère if I was her coach for a month of downhill skiing at the end of the winter. Just get the confidence to go fast and just develop the agility on the ski. Everyone can do it, there is no doubt. Everyone can do it, but she just loves the hard work, and it's difficult to train what you're worst at. Well, look at the gap that Maric had at the start of the second hill, and to give her credit, Mike, she saw her opportunity, or she heard it rather, and just went for that second climb. Kowalczyk's technique?
It's all strength, isn't it, Patrick? She's just bounding up the hill. There's no efficient slide through the ski, but she's got the engine to cope with that, and I think the technicians have put more stick wax underneath the ski to allow her to charge up the hills. Doesn't help her on the downhills as much.
Well, I think there's no doubt that Kowalczyk is going to be one of the quicker climbers, if not the quickest climber on the final day of the Tour de Ski. If Maric is going to win this, or even Kala or one of the other women, they do need to have a decent gap over Kowalczyk at the start of the final day.
I think so, and I think anyone within 30 seconds of Kowalczyk on the final day is in trouble.
Well, we've got a few days to wait and see, a week in fact, before we find out what the overall result is. Here are the results of today, day 3 of course, the 8 competitions in all. Madic, 250.8. She saved her best till last, picks up the 5,000 Swiss francs for the win. So the overall